in the search of everything now. So how many hours a day do we spend on the internet looking for things and learning new things that we will already forget in the next 20 minutes? And I believe most of us a process that takes so much time out of us and give us a little in return. So when I was a little bit younger, I used to think that I had my life pretty well figured out. I didn't chase a nightlife. I didn't care for gambling, for alcohol, or for tobacco, right? But I was still very tired every single day. I was very tired. I was getting very little sleep. And this was really affecting my life in all the possible aspects that you can think of. And I was not going to bed until 2 a.m. in the morning. And I was always trying to blame so many things. I tried to blame my job, my studies, my social life, etc. I look a little bit like that at the time. and I was never really looking at the real culprit, or one of the main culprits, which was this thing right here, right? I tried to blame everything else because I was always looking for that next hit of dopamine, right? And this is our friend Dopey here. So dopey actually takes part in a lot of things in our bodies. So, for example, movement or executive functions, women's ability to breastfeed, and many other things that I'm definitely not qualified to talk about, right? But I can tell you that dopamine gets released in our bodies every time we do something that we find rewarding. This can be eating, sleeping, drinking water, or reproducing. Essentially, anything that we do to preserve and survive. Because remember, at some point, we were just animals, right? And as we evolved, so it did the things that we found pleasure in. So drinking water used to be a pleasure, and now drinking any kind of food it became a pleasure. It was not just only to survive, but anything that we liked. And so on and so forth. You get the gist of it. So we can say that when our experiences exceed our expectations, that's when, boom, dopey hits, right? And this also helps us with our memories. Because, of course, if you have a very good life experience, what are the chances you're going to forget that one? Like, who can forget, for example, their first kiss? And this is something completely normal in human behavior. But at some point, we realized we can actually get to that point artificially. And we can get to the point artificially, we can actually just get that hit faster and quicker and not really work for it as we used to. So we want to get that hit again and again and again and again and again and again until, oh my God, we are cracked because they had figured us out, right? Because human beings themselves managed to turn something that was completely normal about human behavior into essentially digitalized weaponry for our minds. Because of course, if we enjoyed something after doing barely anything for 30 minutes, we're going to try to search for that same feeling every 20 minutes, every 15 minutes, every 5 minutes, every other minute, and we will be caught in this cycle that is very difficult to get out of. And we will become less functional because we cannot focus anymore on just one thing. So remember how I told you that dopamine helps us with our memories? Well, when we are in this state of mind, actually it does the opposite because we cannot longer retain information as we used to, and we only want to get that hit. We only want to get the end of the experience, so we cannot really focus on one thing anymore. And so this actually caused that our attention span became less than it used to be. The study shows that in the early 2000s, our attention span was of 12 seconds, and now it's 8. And it's hard to say that future generations will have it even worse. I mean, I remember that I used to wait until 4 p.m. to watch 2 episodes of SpongeBob with commercials in the middle. And that was it. If I got to the TV later than that, then I'm sorry, there's no more SpongeBob. You have to wait 24 hours or 3 days if it was on a Friday. So this kind of teaches in a way that in order for us to get something, we needed to work for it and wait for it. And this is what is called delayed gratification. And this, as we grew, helped us set our expectations in a more realistic way. It seems that nowadays my nephews, for example, are binging entire seasons of cartoons in days, and they are fast forwarding, rewinding, and pausing here, pausing there, changing cartoons in the middle of an episode, going from streaming platform to streaming platform, and they get this every single day. And they think that everything must be on demand, and that everything is about the now, and the now is always late. What kind of thought process do you think that they will be developing when at such a young age they are already exposed to this? So we are in the search of everything now. This is actually a song by Arcade Fire that I think describes very well the way that we are living today. We simply have everything of anything at the touch of a button or at the top of a screen. We can be consumed by this, and we cease being the consumers, right? There is so much out there that we might not really know how to use it or how to truly bring something of worth out of it. And like the song says, we have the ashes of everything now, and we can't make it back from it. Okay, so what was the point of all of this? What is it that I'm trying to get at with this? Do we even know what we are doing to contribute to this instant gratification culture? From our positions, I mean, we are part of an IT company at the end of the day. How are we actually taking part in this invisible machinery that is behind all of this? And how can we help future generations be able to break through or break out of this addiction? Well, I don't know because I already forgot what I was even talking about because I have to go to check Twitter because it's been a hot minute now. Thank you very much. There will be no encore.